Hey everyone, my name is La. I'm from TGL. Today I'm going to talk about the challenges facing the logistics industry in 2023. And it's going to come in two parts. The first part is that if you are a freight forwarder, like I am, or anyone in logistics, what we can all expect. The second part will be that if you are a customer or a user of logistics services, what you can expect. All of the challenges that we're seeing with the economic doldrums that we are facing in 2023, and what we can anticipate how things may play out. So if you're a freight forwarder or a logistics company of some sort, naturally speaking, given the sharp decline where all the freight rates are due to the lack of economic activity compared to the previous years, will mean your revenue is going down. And it's going down hard and fast, which means that the net dollar value that you're going to receive in your business also means it's going to be severely reduced, just like we have seen at TGL. So the biggest challenge is, how do we sustain the level of employment that we had to scale up over the COVID years? I guess meet the demands of the higher demands of the COVID years, and then to keep the workforce and to pay those high salaries, meanwhile having a lot less money coming into the pipeline. Well, there's a couple of options, isn't it? It's unfortunately, the reality will be for most of us, we're going to have to let a good deal of people go. That is what the central bank wants from all of us by increasing the interest rates, right? To make sure that we can't spend as much, and therefore, because we're not spending as much, that has a direct correlation to the products importers. And if they're not selling as much, they're not importing as much. So as a logistics people, we rely on those movements, right? Higher movements, higher revenue. Lower movements, lower revenue, right? And the competition gets really fierce for us as well. It's like, how low can you go? You know, it's almost like I go to the Jerry behind the camera, I say, give me one of those poles. I do one of those Hawaiian, thing. I don't even know what that's called. But that's the reality, right? The competition is going to get fierce, it's going to get nasty. And there will be a lot of games played by your competitors where they're going to entice your clients away. Those are all the challenges that comes from an environment that we see today in both economics and geopolitical tensions that we're seeing around the world. So what else as a freight provider? Well, the flip side of the challenges is we're going to get a lot more supply and capacity. So all our suppliers will be freed up, their capacity will be freed up because of the reduced activity. So finding things, or finding truck to move our load, finding the space in the aircraft or the container on the vessel is going to be a lot easier. But that's not necessarily a good thing, is it? It's a double-edged sword. The easier we can source those things simply means there's not enough economic activity. And in so doing, that means that both the market-wide volumes are reduced, which means that your own volumes will reduce in proportion. So those are the challenges for a freight forwarder and a logistics company in 2023. So what about if you are a customer or a user of logistics services? What are some of the challenges there? Well, given that the pricing has reduced severely, a lot of freight forwarders out there are desperate to get more business because that's the only way to keep their business buoyant. In some cases, maybe the difference between going under and surviving. So you're going to get a lot of desperate folks in the marketplace competing for your business. And anytime that situation happens, it will mean that you're going to get a lot of enticing offers. I'm not saying every offer is going to be illegitimate, but there will be a good level of game playing and gamesmanship at play. So be very cautious. Make sure you investigate, review, and understand any new approaches coming from a provider of lower rates, cheaper offers here and so forth, because it is very important that you support, maybe not the incumbent, but support a business that's going to stay the course during these hard times. If you jump on board because someone is desperate to get your business because they haven't managed their business very well and they're underselling to get your business on, that is not a long-term strategy. And if you put your valuable goods into that person's hands, in very short succession, your own business gets dragged down with it. So be very, very cautious. It's the wild, wild west at the moment. Every man and his donkey is desperate for freight if you're in the logistics world. So be cautious, because a lot of people will be coming and throwing these cheap offers left, right, and center. The most important thing for you, the user of our services, is understand what is important to your business, what margins you operate on, and make sure consistency is what you are shooting for, not the bottom dollar. Okay. Other challenges you might face are the ones that faces your own commercial realities, is that because people are not purchasing as much, your business turnover, your revenue will also be severely reduced. So making sure your stock inventory is kept within a manageable level, that you don't over accumulate, maybe shift some of your orders to just in time if you haven't already done so, but keep in mind that given that the shipping lines are not moving as much freight, the disruption to set schedules will happen more and more. Okay, this is both by way of them trying to minimize their losses by moving empty ships, or it could mean that they simply want to create some artificial bottlenecks by pulling some sailings and flights out, so they can squeeze all the existing demand into fewer sailings or fewer departures. That is the only way they can hold any type of floor into their pricing. So be aware and conscious that there could be supply games at play. Okay, again, those are the pretty logical challenges that you should expect in 2023. I'm sure there are others which I have not mentioned, but I think those are the prominent ones that we see as a freight forwarder for ourselves and for you, the customer. And of course, the most important defense to these, less than exciting times is always to educate yourself, understand what is happening in the macro world, so that you can apply some of those information to your own micro realities. Be informed, talk to people who are in the know. It doesn't matter where your supply base are. Be in touch with your suppliers. Be in touch, with your freight forwarders or your local trucker. Get a feel for how their business is running, because any disruption along your supply chain, be it someone going under or someone having any sort of changes in their business model, can immediately directly affect how you run your business. So be conscious, be in touch, and communicate all along your supply chain. This is the best way to keep your supply chain robust. And on that note, I will leave it at that. I hope you like this content. If you like something else you want to hear from us, leave us a comment. So on that note, thank you, and I see you in the next episode.